Coin traders, what's going on? Thanks for joining me for the show. Going to look at Algorand. So shout out to the Algo fam. I do apologize that it has been a minute since I posted a recent video. Just got back from leave and then going to be heading out tomorrow for Easter through Sunday. So probably no video until Monday, but just want to go ahead and talk about the Algorand setup here since we haven't talked about it for a little bit, especially since we have had the very nice AlgoKit candle and kind of a little bit of lacking follow through from there. But yeah, I do want to shout out to a huge welcome for everyone new to the channel. If you are new, please hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe if you have not done so just yet. And a huge welcome back for everyone else. So yeah, actually want to start off by flipping over and talking about the weekly chart on the US dollar pairing here, because we're getting a pretty bad sign that we haven't had a lot of upside follow through. So let's go ahead and turn on volume, for example, as well. And you can see that especially after a minimal upside attempt, getting stuck up at the 26 EMA resistance, pulling back, breaking below the 12, and now we're finding a big point of resistance, unable to see the bulls close above that level, even despite big bullish things such as the AlgoKit and the Algorand announcement for partnerships and things like that. So a little bit now of a bear flag on this weekly since we just got extremely small bodies, and you can even see that even all of the bullish bodies are still completely fitting inside this bearish bar. So overall, still a downside direction going into this. Typically, we are going to expect this to go downside as well, but a lot of that is going to depend on kind of the current global situation and climate based on what we see out of things like Bitcoin and whatnot. So yeah, really, we are only about halfway through. There's actually about 3 days left for the weekly candle, so still anything could potentially happen on this current weekly. But if we do switch over now and go back into the daily, then yeah, you can see we have gotten stuck up on the 50-period EMA. And then additionally, the last 3 days of bullish upside candles have now completely engulfed by the bearish candle that initially pushed all this downside price. So one bearish day of downside couldn't even get all the price action to the upside to make up for that after 3 days. And that's even with pretty decent volume, all things considering too. So if we actually look at the bearish volume that it took to create that, then we had 15.24 million. And then now we actually have a total of 18.51, 14.95, and then 19. So 3 times as much bullish volume coming in, yet still can't even maintain a candle that sees a complete invalidation of this bearish candle. And so especially now that we are getting a bearish day and with only about 2.5 hours left until the close, my anticipation is that we're still going to see a little bit more bearish through and likely another bearish day tomorrow, especially given the fact we have rejected from this 50-period EMA, which we have rejected below previous times. So I think the one-off news event for this very nice bullish catalyst for the AlgoKit and all of that, nice upside day. And so actually just kind of want to flip on over here to Twitter now and talk about a tweet that I actually made on that day back on the 29th of March, because I did talk about how the pump was a news-driven event and that news-driven pumps are rarely sustainable, which is exactly like what we're seeing in the current. So we had a huge upside and then extreme slippage with, like we talked about, not actually that much bearish volume. So we were on to something there and yeah, enjoy the day, but the follow through is where we really get excited. So naturally, no follow through on this attempt so far, and we are looking lower, then we're not really getting excited. And unfortunately, it is kind of just a one-off event that had a nice pump in price for the chart. And that's kind of all that we are seeing right now, especially for continuation, since it's hard to really sustain a lot of that, especially in these type of markets where we're already seeing a lot of downside pressure. So yeah, just another reminder, if you're not following me over on Twitter, go drop me a follow at coin_trades is the handle. So looking forward to chatting everyone over there. Do have a lot of great discussions and it's pretty easy to chat with everyone over there compared to over here on the channel. So at this time, I actually do want to flip over into the Bitcoin pairing here. So the Algo Bitcoin pairing chart. And right now you can see a little bit of upside on this weekly. So we are in the weekly. And do want to point out our next upside price point for resistance, about 970 Satoshi. So we are going to rally that up all the way to about the 1,000 Satoshi mark. Big resistance point up overhead for the Bitcoin pairing, which also should align with these exponential moving averages, which we haven't actually had a test of. But the last time we did bounce off the 12-period exponential. So I do anticipate probably at least something similar. But with that said, we do need to go ahead and pull up the RSI here because this is actually the first time we've seen an oversold Algo Bitcoin pairing since the launch. And actually this is the Coinbase chart. So we would have to compare on, say, Binance, for example. So let's go Algo BTC over on, oops, that's actually Algo, not Algo BTC. Let's go ahead and compare on Binance. So you can see, especially since the launch, we haven't had this type of pullback for algo that has been this level of oversold on this Bitcoin pairing. So that's definitely notable. And so even the last time we were anything similar was still back at the end of 2020 in the start, which was kind of when we had our nice rally in that bull market, but we're not really expecting that right now. So I would expect a little bit more of kind of another bear flag type like we experienced back from December to about February of this year. A lot of that would be based on if we do see another explosive move out of Bitcoin on top of about 28,500 up to about 32 to 35,000. If that does happen, then we're probably going to see another downside move from algo before the altcoins would actually have their moment to the upside. That's just a complete speculation though. And yeah, so at this time, moving on over into the 2-day chart, since we do like the 2-day, and just want to highlight again how we have gotten resistance points, multiple attempts on this 50-period EMA for the 2-day. So that is our struggle. And then we also saw resistance at this 26 period and then now the 12 period. So we do know extremely relevant resistance points and to be following what these exponential moving averages actually have to say, especially since looking left, they were very relevant points on this initial move to the upside before we topped out right below the 30-cent mark. So definitely not a very healthy chart at all on the longer time frames, starting with the 2-day, most notably since we're completely below a total bearish formation and seeing resistance in this overall whole zone. So unfortunately, right now in the longer term, this still does signal a lot of bearish pressure. And that's why when we do have bullish news that comes out of markets like this, we know it's not sustainable. So had we been in a bullish market and we saw a lot of the great AlgoKit news, we would have seen a lot of probably follow through and continuation on that type of news announcement, since typically that only perpetuates upside moves even further. But in bearish markets, we know that that only creates usually a short pump. It's kind of the opposite for bullish markets, how bearish news typically is very short-lived, and then we see the bullish trend continue, since it's not really that sustainable of an impact on sentiment and such. Keep in mind too, we can't necessarily see a rally out of one crypto or altcoin when we do have the rest of the crypto space in a continuous pullback. So that's kind of one of the things that also lets that type of move happen with those news-driven catalyst type events. But yeah, so we have had the payouts now for governance period 6, and we are in the signups with about 15 days left, I think about 2 weeks or so for governance period 7. And there are actually 2 different options. This is the first period, I believe, with XGov signups, which I'll probably do another deeper dive video later, but essentially you have to lock up crypto for a 12-month period instead of 3 months. It's still the same 1 vote for period, essentially, since there's 4 votes per that 4-month period. And then the caveat is that if you actually don't fulfill your obligations, it's not that you're just ineligible for rewards. You actually completely lose your committed amount, which, yeah, I think a lot of people are probably going to have an issue with. So anyway, yeah, that's going to be it for now and our little update on the Algorand chart. If you did enjoy, as always, please hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe if you have not done so just yet. And make sure to leave me a comment with your thoughts, feedbacks, issues, disagreements, all that stuff down below. Do love getting back to each and every one of you and connecting with you all. Appreciate all the continued love and support and feedback. As always, does mean so much. Stay safe, take care, and I'll catch you back in the next video.